Welcome to the channel, friends. So today's project will be getting ready for Woodstove season. And the very first thing I do is bring in some seasoned firewood here into the garage. I wanted to showcase you guys the firewood bin system I've developed over the past couple years and how effective and efficient it is at handling and drying firewood. So if this is something that's going to interest you, stay tuned and I hope you enjoy the video. Alright, so welcome back. I went ahead and moved the ATVs out of the garage to make some room. As you can see there, that's kind of the temporary configuration in the garage right now. It's always shifting. But let's go take a look at the firewood bins because it's starting to rain and I don't want to get poured on too bad. So here are the firewood bins. I keep them kind of exposed to the sun. I made 3 different types, and I'll show you kind of the benefits of each and what I think is the best. So we have the traditional IBC totes that I made into firewood bins, and I notched out 2 of the rungs. And that way you can actually reach in for the firewood and not be too much of a problem. And I went ahead and deburred and kind of sanded these sharp edges. Then I went ahead and decided I needed more firewood bins because I use a lot more firewood. I went and bought some 10 gauge welded wire fencing material and bent up my own bin. These work extremely well. They're lighter weight than the IBC totes, I would say, by about like 100 pounds because you don't have the whole metal pallet and everything. They're much more transparent when you have them sitting on your property, and they just look better in my opinion. I really like these, and they're not as tall, so they're easier to reach into. They're still very sturdy. This is galvanized material. It's not going to rot. I have them sitting on 2 pallets. So 1 pallet goes with the bin, and 1 pallet is sitting on top of bricks, so it doesn't like get stuck to the ground when the snow and ice develops here in the wintertime. That system works great. And then this is what I do when I'm ready to use the firewood. I cover up 2 of the piles, or 2 of the bins, rather, and put a brown tarp over them. That way the rain, like right now it's raining, is not getting to the firewood. And they're still kind of covered and dry. I made my own weights that go on the tarps. I have a video on that. Check it out. I will add it into the cards up above. So that's my system right there. Really efficient way of lifting 2,000 pounds of firewood and bringing it into your garage. But I also have a third method which I've developed lately because I ran out of bins, is that just stacking the firewood right on top of pallets, just like I do with the other ones. So I have 2 pallets, one's going to stay in the ground, one's going to come with the actual pile of firewood, and then I'll lift this up with the excavator forks and bring it into the garage like I'll demonstrate shortly. This is a great alternative to acquiring the IBC totes or making that welded wire fencing kind of bin. That cost me, let's see, I got the totes for free, so that didn't cost me anything, but the welded wire cost me about $150 just to purchase the roll, and then I had to put the labor and kind of time and effort into bending it up the way I want. So those aren't cheap because you have to put money into them, possibly, depending if you can acquire them at a low cost or not. But this is just kind of the quickest and the simplest way of transporting it. So for the most part, these kind of standalone stacks are pretty sturdy as long as you don't stack them more than 4 feet tall. You have to crisscross your splits just like this. That way they kind of stay together and they don't fall over. But when I do plan on moving these, I plan on putting the tarp over it and strapping them up just in case they tend to want to fall off the pallet. My favorite, like I said, is the welded wire, I have to say. They just look better. They're slightly lighter in weight, so they're easier in the machine to pick up, and they keep everything contained. So there is the 3 alternatives that I use to manually handling and stacking and piling firewood. I just can't stand doing that anymore. There's just better ways and better things to do with your time than stacking firewood, honestly. So let's get the excavator set up with the forks and let's lift one of these bins up and show you exactly the process. So these are the forks I custom made for the excavator. I made a quick attach fixture plate, then attached, bolted on a I-beam, and then I made a custom set of forks which clamp onto the bottom of the I-beam channel, and I've reinforced it with gussets front and back. This works great. I made them specifically to lift the firewood bins into the garage and for other stuff in the homestead. Basically, I can pick up anything now with a pallet. They don't make forks for this size machine, but it's definitely capable of lifting 2,500 pounds out 15 feet. So I try to keep it tucked in as much as I can. You don't want to go past like 90 this way. So I'm talking about this arm in relation to the boom. You want to keep it kind of at 90 degrees the whole time, because if you tuck it in too much, you'll end up hitting the pallet in the bin on the cylinder. So that's why I made these stops here. If you can see them, a bunch of shit in the way, but there's stops to prevent it from going too far back. It has a 4-foot usable area on the forks. And all right, let's just hook this thing up and then try to lift up a pallet. There we go, simple as that. Hooks up nicely and we're good to go. So it is raining right now. I prefer not to do this when it's raining, but I kind of have to do this today because tomorrow it's going to snow. And I don't want to be doing that when it's snowing and have a mess back here. So best bet is to do it today and show you guys exactly this firewood system that I have. This machine is a 10,000 pound machine, so that set of forks can definitely lift over 2,500 pounds maximum, I would say, but I kind of keep it under just about 2,000 or lower. I don't go past that 2,500 mark because even though they are built strong and I have confidence in them, they're just not really meant for being a heavy set of forks, or heavy duty forks, I should say. So for the light duty stuff that I do here in the homestead, it works out perfect. So I'm just gonna scoop right into that pallet, pick it up like you would with a set of forks normally with a forklift. Let's take a look outside. All right, so I'm hitting there, if you can see that. So I'm just gonna back up. I gotta get past that weight. right in. All right, so you see how the arm is past 90? I don't want that, so I want to come back just a little bit. And then I'll slide this in gracefully without touching anything. Kind of takes some getting used to the controls when you're using the forks backwards like this on the machine. Kind of want to set them in there loosely and then kind of scoop them to the back. All right, so there I have it. I have it picked up. I'm just going to lift it up now. So since it's raining, I'm gonna keep the tarp on until I get it into the garage. It just makes sense. So, but normally I would uncover the pallet or the bin and just put that tarp onto the next bin that I have. So let's get this to the garage now. I'm gonna tip it inward a little bit. That's what I was talking about. If you tip it too much inward, it will actually hit on the cylinder sleeve, the actual housing of it, but not the actual piston, the shiny part. So just take my time with this because you have to go slow when you have 2,000 pounds out on the end of the machine like this. It's a lot of weight. So just nice and slow, take my time, have my hand on the controls, offers a lot more finer adjustment. Just very slowly turning into position and straightening myself out to get myself to the garage. I'm going to pick it up just a little bit because of the hill right in front of me. As you can see, it picks it up no problem. It has no issues lifting that weight hanging out 15 feet. But you have to go very slow. That's the only downside to having a set of forks in this machine, because you have to go slow. Like I said, you can't tuck them in all the way near to the blade because then you would hit on the cylinder. So as I come up this hill, as you notice, the pallet is up in the air, so I don't want that because I want to kind of ride the ground as much as I can. I don't want to be too much more than a foot off the ground with this kind of weight. So I'm going to adjust the arm and the boom accordingly. And then as I break over the hill, I will bring the arm back up, bring the forks back up. So since it's raining, I'm only gonna bring this to the asphalt and then do the rest of the work with the pallet jack because I don't want to get the muddy tracks from the excavator all over the driveway. So I'm just gonna bring it right to the asphalt as much as I can and then just drop it off. All right, so right there is good. I'm gonna put it down. release the tension on the forks and then just slide right out. So if it was a nice dry sunny day, I would have no problem taking the excavator right up to the garage and placing it right inside the garage. That way it's less work for me. But like I said, I don't want to make a mess, so this is how it's going to be for today. But let's get out and take a look at this. So there you have it. We have the bin ready to be transferred into the garage. And there's the machine. Really happy with these set of forks. As you can see, I went ahead and marked off the common position that I use them in. I believe this is the 27-inch, which is the narrower setting. So they work out great. So let's get this machine back in its spot and get the pallet jack and haul this thing into the garage. That's heavy. I'm stuck on the threshold of the garage. So I do have a video on how I made these tarp weights. It's very simple. Check out the video. So as you can see, it's raining outside, but I just brought in a dry seasoned stack or bin of firewood. So it really pays off to have a good system in place and to have it so it works well for you and makes things a lot easier, less labor, less time involved. You can be doing a lot of other good things with that time versus stacking and piling, you know, your firewood here and there all over your property or whatever the case is. But I really like this system. The pallet jack comes in handy because I can move this thing around the garage when I need to, so it's not in the way. It's never stationary. So let's go ahead and put this in its kind of final temporary spot for now. Alright, so there you have it. I have everything in the garage for my complete firewood system. The pallet jack is still underneath the firewood pile, firewood bin. That way I can move it around when I need to. Everything is on dollies and wheels. That way it can be moved around and kind of be modular depending on what kind of space requirements I need for the given week. So this is my system. This right here, I went in the shed and grabbed my kindling cracker, which is mounted to a nice 18-inch oak base, a white oak base, to be exact. And then I made this cage to catch the kindling and all the debris, that way it doesn't go everywhere. So this works out good. You know, you put your piece of wood in here, you split, and then you go ahead and hit it with a 5-pound hammer, and it creates kindling. So I have a video in this where I made this from scratch. So if you're interested in that, go check it out. I will tag it up above. But there you have it. I have my firewood, my kindling maker, cracker, and then I have my wagon, which is where I put all my kindling. I make a big pile of it all at once. That way I don't have to continuously make kindling every single day, which is just you know, time consuming and just ridiculous. But I try to do everything all at once, get a big pile there, and then I'm good for at least 2-3 weeks. So that's the firewood bin system. Really happy with it so far. As you can see, it does take up some space in the garage, but I will go ahead and move things around in the next few weeks as things kind of transition from fall into winter. I will go ahead and kind of position the ATVs in a particular manner for plowing and things like that, and make room. I plan on working on the Corvette some more, so I have a lot more mods coming, heads, cam, porting, you name it. Larger injectors, E85 possibly. So a lot of good videos coming up, but for today, I'm happy that I got some nice dry wood inside the house, and I can enjoy a fire later on. Well guys, that's it for today. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions or comments, please place them right down below. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.